What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV live from Madrid. We have had a few days off, weekend off, much needed days off, and back raring to go, eh?
Yeah, I forgot Spurs are playing again on Tuesday. I was taking my mind off things over the weekend, but here we are. It's a game. It's a weird one. It's like, we'll get into the preview and everything, but it's just a weird feeling going to this game because there is so much riding on the end of our season. Yeah, it feels like there's not much riding on this one.
It's time to put that in the back of your mind for now. We're here for Champions League football, last 16 against Atletico Madrid, preview and predicted lineup to come. But we've got a Tottenham update, and Jed Spence has been pictured back in training, the open training that was uploaded on here on We Are Tottenham TV earlier today. But yeah, much needed boost.
Yeah, we need the fullbacks ready. Obviously, Sousa's been filling in the last game, but he only lasted, 40 minutes before Van der Ven got sent off. I think it's welcome return to have Spence back, 100%. I know his left back's not a familiar role for him, or it's been familiar, but he's not his best when he's there. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, he is better than Sousa. And I think we just need every player that can come in and help at the moment. And so hopefully a doggy's back soon, but we just need everyone back.
You know, there's been another report on Jed Spence, not by the most reliable journalist, but we're going to tell you the news anyway. Ekram Konar is saying that Italian giants Juventus are looking to reinforce their right-back spot in the summer, and they've identified Jed Spence as a target. You know, I think he would suit Italian football.
I agree. I think he'd probably do well there. And it's obviously the Sharks are going to be circling for all our big players if what we hope doesn't happen does happen, which we'll talk about. But I think Spence in Serie A, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, let's hope the report isn't reliable. But look, at the end of the day, if we do go down, then we got to just make peace with a lot of players are going to leave, and he's probably going to be one of them. But let's just hope we don't go down.
If he wants to play for England, then he's going to can't be in the Championship, can he?
Exactly. So that's Jed Spence. Let's talk about Diego Simeone, because in my opinion, he was completely gaslighting in his press conference today. He said that on playing Tottenham, that they came fourth in the league phase. We came through in the playoffs, so they are favourites. We are not favourites. God, that is the biggest bit of gaslighting from Simeone I've ever seen in my life.
Fourth best team in the whole of Europe, Tottenham are, apparently. He's probably looking, look, we couldn't even beat Bodo. We lost to Bodo, and Tottenham beat him last season in the Europa League. They even got a draw this season, and they lost at home to Bodo this season. So maybe he's trying to play down things. I think he's coming into this very confident. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we surprise a few people tomorrow. Maybe put in a better performance than we have been. We're going to have Romero, Van der Ven back. We've seen we have been better in the Champions League. We've got also, I feel like, we'll play maybe a bit of the pressure lifted off our shoulders because it's not a Premier League game, so the pressure's not as much. And obviously, we probably are underdogs. But if I'm Atletico, surely you're coming into this thinking, you know, we do usually have a good record at our home stadium. We're in a very aggressive team. If we put it on them early, we could have this done in the first leg.
Yeah, look, I think he's trying to lull us into a full sense of security, and he knows full well that Spurs are suffering right now, and he knows full well the confidence level Spurs have going into this game. However, back when we last played the Champions League game, beating Frankfurt, beating Dortmund, we were in a very bad way in that moment as well. And then we were able to muster up a performance against Dortmund and against Frankfurt. So it's not beyond all realms of possibility, like you mentioned, that Spurs could put in a bit of performance in this game. He's talking about the shock of Spurs being in a relegation battle, and he says, I don't have an opinion as I don't follow it daily, and I don't have an opinion on things that don't concern us directly. So
fair enough.
That's that. And he was talking about Conor Gallagher as well, and he said he's very humble, very dangerous, can play different positions on the pitch, massive work ethic, and he has great behaviour, and we have very good memories of his spell at Atletico Madrid. Was his greatest memory of him selling him.
Yeah, I mean, he played him in all different positions. I mean, we're doing the same, to be honest. I mean, he pretty came to Spurs thinking, I'm never going to play on the wing again. And he's pretty much only played on the wing since
right
he's come
wing,
to Tottenham.
Centre mid, number 10.
But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he was like a player with his kind of attitude, like they liked him there, that the fans liked and appreciated how he worked. But unfortunately, clearly just didn't have the quality. And we're probably seeing that at the moment at Tottenham. But obviously, he's still early days, but yeah.
Maybe he comes into this game against Atletico in a stadium which he obviously knows very well with a bit of a point to prove.
I hope so.
Because, you know, he got a big move to Atletico, obviously on the back of good form for Chelsea, and obviously hasn't worked out for him over there. So I think he should be going into this game with a point to prove.
Yeah, I would think so, because he probably thought he was going to be at Atletico a lot longer than, 18 months in the end. So I think he probably feels like he could have stayed, but I think it was more they wanted to sell him more than maybe he wanted to go because they weren't playing him. But I think they were desperate to get rid. It seemed.
Yeah. More transfer news. Simon Jones of the Mail is reporting that Newcastle want to sign Tottenham striker Dominic Solanke. They'll make a move if Spurs are relegated. Solanke is well known to Eddie Howe, who worked with the forward previously at Bournemouth. Look, again, another kind of demonstration of the shark circling around Tottenham Hotspur. And I think so many clubs around England and Europe are just licking their lips looking at the Tottenham situation at the moment, with the likes of Van der Ven, Romero, Solanke, Spence. I mean, the whole squad.
Whole squad, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, they know, like, potentially a whole squad of decent players are going to become available.
I can't think of one player no one's going to be interested in. I understand, like, we have struggled to, like, shift the likes of Basuma previously. But I do think when it comes to a lot of these players in the squad, they are talented players. And I think teams will look at them. That's even more why it's so bewildering how we are in this situation. But it's more of a collection, a concoction of problems rather than just individual players not being good enough. And I think there's a lot of issues at Tottenham why we are where we are. When it comes to Solanke, I definitely see him fitting in at Newcastle if he was to move there. I think Voltmada and Wissa, clearly at the moment, he doesn't trust. I mean, Wissa's had his injury problems. Voltmada had a great start, and then he's playing him in midfield at the moment. Doesn't seem to trust him in a striking position. So they've been playing Gordon as the number 9 last few weeks. So I think they'll be looking for a number 9 in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if Wissa gets shipped off, to be honest. And I think Solanke would be the perfect fit. I think he's big, strong. I think he probably is a bit more mobile than Voltmada. I think Voltmada's maybe a bit better technical footballer, but Solanke now has a lot to his game, so I'm sure Eddie Howe would love him there. Yeah, and I'm sure Solanke will not be hanging around in the Championship.
That season that Solanke had in the Championship where he scored all those goals, was that under Eddie Howe?
I think it wasn't, because I think, didn't he leave after they got relegated? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But
I don't think it was.
So Solanke's season with Bournemouth was in the Premier League with Eddie Howe?
I don't remember. I think very early on he must have been there when he wasn't doing that well.
Fair enough.
Because the season when he got 19 goals, that wasn't Eddie Howe.
Maybe Eddie Howe signed him.
That was Iraola.
Eddie Howe signed him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right, look, let's finish off talking on Luka Vuskovic. Fabrizio Romano says, I'll tell you more about Luka Vuskovic starting next week. Right now, it's not only Barcelona interested, but many top clubs around Europe are also following Vuskovic. It's going to be a long race. So, I mean, Romano's already calling it a race. He's not even saying, like, Spurs are shutting this down. He's not leaving. I mean, this is really worrying, in my opinion, what's going on with Luka Vuskovic.
I tell you what the most worrying thing is his agent was speaking the other day. And he was saying his list of options for next season, and not one of them was staying at Tottenham. So that was a worry. That is a worry, I have to say. I think we should put our foot down. We have control here. And I think Tottenham, understanding he's still a teenager and he's so highly thought of. And if we are going to, look, if the worst does happen, right, and if we are going to rebuild, these are the kind of players we're going to need. He's got a few years left on his deal. So if anything, maybe we should loan him if he's desperate to go, which he might be. But I don't think we should be selling him. We have to keep him. But
he's got 4 years left on his deal at Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a hefty amount. A hefty amount. So as much as I would love Spurs to put their foot down, I just can't see it happening. I really can't. I think he's going to have such a big value. His value is only growing. Obviously, his value will probably even grow even more from this summer to next summer. I don't know. I just can't see it unless I can't see him playing in the Championship. I think he's way too good for that.
Yeah, he might. I mean, he might be, but it's also testing himself in England. He hasn't played in England yet. I know he's played Bundesliga, which is obviously a very good level. But yeah, it'll be a blow for him. But he's our player. It's up to us.
Yeah, but you can say that about any player in the squad.
Yeah, but there's a lot of players that are for the good of their careers right now with their ages and what they're looking to achieve. And in the immediate term, they're going to have to leave. Vuskovic is different. He's right at the beginning of his career. He's got this whole career ahead of him. He doesn't have to make a rash decision. He could spend it in the Championship. It wouldn't really affect him too much.
Yeah, but I get that. But you're talking about one of the best prospects in Europe. And I guarantee you he won't be playing Championship football next season. I guarantee you. If we stay up, it's a different story. And then he can test himself in the Premier League. But I guarantee you, if we go down, he is not sticking around, and he's going to push for a move. His agent's going to push for a move. Even if it's just another loan move back to the Bundesliga, he will not be playing Championship football. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, you might be right.
But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all those news stories. Keep your eyes peeled. Match preview and predicted lineup coming your way. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.